extension. There's been a lot of dilly-dallying at Treasury with these funds, to the extent that when Senator Boni Halwale and I were here, we were dealing with 14 counties. He's come back, now we are dealing with marginalized areas. The money for the previous set of the marginalization policy and the second one has not been disbursed, and that is against the Constitution and a violation of the people who, under Article 2 of 4, the Constitution thought that they ought to bring up to speed with the rest of the country. The third one, although it was not mentioned by my colleague, is the use of the funds. We had a problem about the administrative costs. And I don't know whether you are aware, the initial administrative costs for the board, 695 million, was spent in 2 trips. Yeah, there were just 2 helicopters and that was it. So I'm not sure, again, whether this clause, which reads, and that is clause 13.3, the administrative costs and expenses shall not exceed 3% of the approved annual allocation of the fund. If you calculate what that means, is in millions and millions of shillings.
Yes.
And therefore, if you put the total of what is outstanding, you will leave the fund, the advisory board, with a lot of money to just spend to do very simple things. Now that we have an executive committee appointed through the governor to do the technical work, I see no reason whatsoever why the advisory board should be given such an allocation. It will be a contradiction. The last one is the repeal. I'm not sure what 33 means. Advisory board means the advisory board under regulation 4.1 of PFM. Let me tell you the mischief which I would like this committee to address. The mischief of the previous board was this, that I sat here together with, again, Senator Boni Halwale. We proposed an amendment to the Gazette notice of the advisory board. But the PFM is a very unique legislation where the CS Treasury gazettes the rules and then gives Parliament a timeline. And when the recommendations are sent to the CS, the CS is not obliged to do anything. So the CS actually exercises legislative roles under PFM, which is very dangerous. So I'm not certain whether under the repeal clause, the 4.1 has addressed that issue, but the general mischief is to give this committee and Parliament generally a role to amend where the CS Treasury has proposed amendments to the bill. The last one is the identification of projects was a problem. Because I mentioned that the board just went around and identified projects without consulting anybody. So in terms of the committees, the sector working committees, it will be important that the final bill has a very clear working structure to ensure that the projects that are finally identified have the input of the
That has been the Finance and Budget Committee meeting.